Seriously, Twilight? What's the deal? I told you it's a secret. I hate secrets. You love secrets. Well, I hate not knowing secrets. That's as may be. I am still not telling you where we're going. Do you know how dangerous it is to fly with your eyes closed? Don't worry, we're perfectly safe. Twilight, you flew into a tree last week. You safe and flying are not words that go together. Yet, Rainbow Dash finished, not wanting to hurt Twilight's feelings as her own frustration mounted. Well, we're not flying over trees, so it's fine. She then sent up a silent prayer to the patience that she had never wanted before. Twilight, an edge crept into her voice. Where are we going? You'll know it when we get there. You're so exasperating. And you don't dare compliment me on my vocabulary, she added, knowing even without seeing that Twilight had opened her mouth just to do that. She practically heard a click it closed again. Twilight guided her down for a few more minutes, that the infiltrates of a more urban landscape filled her remaining senses. Rainbow turned her head this way and that, trying to get a bead on where they might be. The agent was strong for the Canterlot that they hadn't flown far enough for the Crystal Empire. Manhattan, maybe? It smelled like a city. She could hear the clip-clop of hooves and tandem of the swoosh rattle of taxi wheels. She scrutinized, and many voices she could hear resisted the urge to tear off the blindfold. "Nuh-uh," Twilight chided, pushing down her hoof. "This way. I swear, sometimes you're even more evil than our enemies all put together." She responded with a soft, adorable, absolutely infuriating giggle. Putting a hoof over Rainbow's withers, she led her along what looked like cobblestone street. Several times Rainbow's hooves slipped and she cursed at her wrenching ankles. "Not far now," Twilight assured. "It's just down the alley when it's down a few steps." "This had better be worth it," Rainbow grumbled. The street sounds and voices of other ponies faded with the increasing echo of their own hooves. Somewhere Rainbow heard dripping water, like that time that she helped Applebloom fix a busted water chute while Applejack and Big Mac were visiting the family. Her curiosity already stretched to the breaking point and threatened to snap like a taut wire and slash a hole in her face for all the things that she wouldn't say to tumble out. "Stop. We're here?" "Yes." Twilight removed her foreleg. She would still use a foreleg instead of a wing. It was much as not Pegasus' thing, so small, but Rainbow still noticed. One of the myriad things that made her love so this stupid, not Pegasus so much. Once upon a time, Rainbow could have laughed in the face of any pony who would have told her she would someday lose her heart to the neurotic bookworm of a unicorn instead of she would have kicked their tail if they had told her that the unicorn would soon ascend to the alicornhood and shyly inquire about dating rituals amongst Pegasi in the way even Rainbow wasn't too dense to miss. The rat-tat-tat of Twilight's lights knocking on the door broke Rainbow from her reverie. "Password?" said a muffled male voice. "If you have to ask what it is, you'll never know," Twilight replied. The door unlocked. "Hey there, Twilight." "Hey, Glissando. Haven't seen you in a while." The male voice faltered. "Is she with me?" "Yes, I'm vouching for her." "Actually, I was going to say, is she really blindfolded?" "Oh yes, that too." "Twilight, you've been away for a while. You know we're not into anything kinky here." "What? Oh gosh, no." Twilight flustered. "It's not like that. I mean, she is not like that. I've brought her here for a surprise for her birthversary." "Her what?" "Her... If she takes off the blindfold, can we come in?" "Blindfolds come off, you come in." "Fine." The irritation frosted Twilight's words. Rainbow felt her magic untie the blindfold in a few brisk tugs that also removed a couple strands of her hair. There. Rainbow blinked, her eyes adjusting to the sudden influx of the light, even as she was dragged by the foreleg through the doorway and into a dark corridor. Tiny balls of iridescence hovered over the ceiling. casting the place in the sickly green glow that was just enough to stop them falling over in their own hooves. Behind them, the door outside was clanked and closed. "You'd think he would cut me like a little slack," Twilight muttered as she pulled Rainbow behind her like a puppy on a tight leash. "I mean, I am a frickin' princess." "Friggin'?" Rainbow echoed. "I'm having a bad influence on you." Twilight stopped, apparently falling out of her annoyance with the bump. "Sorry, I wanted this to be perfect. Considering I have no idea what this is, it's not, imperfect yet." Twilight smiled. "Thank you for trying. Come on, it's just up ahead." "What is?" Her smile turned ever so slightly evil. "You'll see. This had better be 20% better than amazing." "Are you still saying that?" "It will be a thing if it kills me." Twilight shook her head indulgently, and her horn glowed. The door ahead of them opened. Beyond was a large room scattered round tables and an assortment of mismatching chairs. The walls were painted in black, strung with the black drop cloths like the back of the stage. An actual stage jutted part way into the room. Frettable, strung on red curtains down drawn. As Rainbow watched, one of the tassels dropped off, hitting the boards with a soft bump. "What is this place?" she asked. "The place where magic happens, honey," a deep voice she didn't know said. "Huh?" Rainbow half turned, but a large pony swept past her to swing Twilight into a bone-crushing hug. "Sparklebutt, I ain't seen you in the Dragon's Age." "Ugh," Twilight echoingly replied. "Hi, Scarlet." The enormous mare set Twilight down and caught her when she had threatened to fall over. Inadvertently, all the hair along with Rainbow's ruff stood in the end. That was her job. She watched, stuffing down her sudden spike of jealousy. This Scarlet character let go of her mare friend and beamed at her like she had struck oil while digging a sewer pit. "Where have you been, girl?" Scarlet rumbled. Twilight coughed. "Princess duties take up more time than I expected." Her eyes slid into Rainbow Dash. "Plus, I've had other commitments." "Huh? Oh!" Scarlet turned the full force of her smile onto Rainbow. "This is your girl, Sparklebutt? Nice mane, I like it." Thanks." Rainbow struggled to take in the full complement of the colored scarves. The mare was drowning in it. It was impossible to tell her own mane color since every inch of her, except for her face and hooves, was draped in a different swatch of fabric. Her bright gold eyes stared out of the place as the color of the stormy rain clouds set beneath the cow print hat, with a wide brim and the biggest, reddest plume in Rainbow had ever seen in her life. Nestled on top of the feather sat a pair of reflective sunglasses. "Cute butt, too. You brought her up a good show tonight." Scarlet transferred her gaze back to Twilight and winked. "A real good show." "Oh my gosh, is Lewis on?" Rainbow was surprised by all the sudden fervor in Twilight's voice. Scarlet winked. "You betcha." Twilight let out an unprincess-like squeal. "I hope he would be, but, well, you know. No set list until the start of the show. That's my motto." Scarlet laughed uproariously. "Well, that ended the Rainbow's darlings rainbows." She then struck a pose to show off her scarf and the swish that made several flutter in that way that almost resembled wings. "Speaking of, I better get backstage to help up with this scotch. Toodles, honey." She swished away. Rainbow gave it a moment. "Sparklebutt?" Twilight hushed in crimson. "Shush! Something I should know about?" "Shush! 'Cause if my mare friend has a history, it was a phase when I was a teenager, okay?" Rainbow blinked. "Huh?" "I tried to give myself a nickname. I thought it sounded, she toed the worn-out carpet, cool. You thought Sparklebutt sounded cool?" "Did I mention I was an academic recluse with no social skills?" Rainbow suppressed a chuckle. "Should we go grab some seats, Sparklebutt?" "Stop it. Whatever you say, Sparklebutt." "Rainbow, that isn't funny." "I think it's frickin' hilarious, Sparkle. I will fill your bed with red ants. Joke's on you. I barely sleep in it anymore. I'm always at your place." Okay, you do have a point there." Twilight trotted towards the table near the front of the room. Come on, this is the best seat in the house. What's even this in this place? Rainbow asked as she followed. I still have no idea. I used to come here as a teenager. Twilight's magic pulled out a chair for Rainbow to perch on. When I was in school still, I needed to unwind. You may have not noticed, but I can get a little stressy sometimes. Never noticed? Not once? Nope. Rainbow scooched in her chair in. So it's some kind of show? Yeah. You're being absolute obtuse tonight. Twilight stared at her. Did you use obtuse in the sentence on your own? Why do I love you again? All you do is insult me and keep secrets from me. The evil smile made a reappearance. And so do this. Twilight pressed her muzzle against Rainbow's, tilting her mouth up for a kiss. You do that good. Well? Huh? Really well. Not really good. And you killed the moment with grammar. Twilight's face scrunched into a frown. Rainbow! What? We're having a moment and when you all went egghead on me? Twilight slumped in her own chair and pressed her forehooves over her face. This is not going how I planned it. We're here, aren't we? I'm sure it'll be fine. Rainbow glanced up at the stage. Whatever it is. Over the next half hour, ponies trickled and then streamed into the little room. The scrawny mare, dressed entirely in black, her eyes rimmed with the kohl and heavy Rainbow couldn't even really tell her eye color, trotted over to ask for a drink's order. Rainbow immediately smacked her lips. Do you stock Sweet Apple Acre cider? We sure do. Twilight raised her hoof. 2 tank tards, please. Maldolin, and put it on my tab. I'll settle it up at the end. Rainbow planted another kiss on Twilight as the scrawny waitress assembled away. I love you, you know that? You love me because I have enough royal coffers to keep you in cider. Details, details. After at least 20 minutes, Rainbow's wings itched. She hated sitting still for this long. Why did we get here so early? Better to be in bed early than late, Twilight said primly. I'm so bored. Rainbow! What? This is for my birth anniversary, right? So I can whine here if I want to. Your birth anniversary isn't actually for another 3 days. You could whine in 3 days' time. Pendant, you... Don't say it. Twilight smiled and sipped her cider. Eventually, when the several ice ages passed, Scarlet stepped up on stage. A smattering of cheers and hooves against the floor and tables followed her appearance. She approached a microphone stand in the center and crouched a little, but didn't just adjust to her height. Mares and gentlecoats, do you all know what time it is? Time to get down, Twilight yelled, alongside every pony else. Get down? Rainbow added, half second after everyone else. Time to get down, get up, get sideways, and every place in between, Scarlet corrected, her voice swooping between pitches, so much her neck actually cricked from the movement in her throat alone. The serenade sorely is proud to present. Returning once again, she paused, obviously for dramatic effect. The audience leaned forward, Louis Hoofstrong and the Hottentots 5. As one of the rooms swooped down and hollered, the curtains pulled back to reveal a stallion standing right at the end of the stop to step forward. Her mouth level with the microphone, his husky deep voice cracked from the speakers. Thank you, and welcome one and all. More whooping, more hollering, whoever this guy is, he was some big deal to these folks. Rainbow looked around at the eager faces. She finished on Twilight, who was staring up at the stallion, with an expression of a pure rapture, turning her from a princely alicorn into a excited filly again. As if feeling Rainbow's eyes on her, she turned to meet her gaze, smiling as she reached across the table to place her hoof over the mare friend's. This is something I've been wanting to share with you for a while, but I wasn't sure if it'd be your scene. Rainbow arched an eyebrow. Before she could say anything, the stallion on stage lifted her triumph trumpet to his mouth and gave a shrill blast. She jumped in her seat, whipping around. On cue, the 5 ponies arranged behind them and started to play their instruments. Kind of the music would sound its way from them. Rainbow wasn't sure what to make of it. It wasn't the type of music she was used to, for sure. If it had come on the radio, she probably would have changed the station to look for something more awesome. Her musical tastes tend to run to lots of guitars and heavy drum beats. All dramatic chords have total epicness. If she could imagine herself pulling off the greatest rain boom in the history of ever to it, she liked it. This music was scratchy, and its instruments kind of blended to each other in ways that was almost, but not quite, discordant. As it went on, the trumpet emerged from the melee, striking up the tune of Shorts, and the trombone and clarinet soon followed, picking up like they had never heard of it before, and were waiting for the trumpet's lead. The bassist plucked rhythmically, his noise trumping low that Rainbow swore she could hear her chair vibrate. The pianist flicked his gaze between them, hooves moving fast across the keys that even countless coloratura herself would have had a hard time matching her. The piano tickled around the other instruments, whirling up around her steadily repetitive tune like a single prima ballerina dancing in rings around for plodding calf-horses. Suddenly the trumpet burst from the rhythm, leaving all the free stallions to carry as he thrived up into the radiant piano. Briefly resting his elbows on top of the lid, the pianist smiled up at the trumpeter, leaning sideways and fluttering series of high notes into the furthest keys. He twinkled a few high notes back at her, and then stooped down as a low note as he dipped his chin to his chest. She responded by leaning to her other side, matching him with the low notes of her own that brought her face so close to his that she was able to playfully nip his nose with her teeth. From where they were off, firing the snatches of the sound that each other like they were having a conversation through her music, the trumpeter trotted around the piano and his hind hooves, whisking her tune into his tune before she wrestled it back and she was in the lead once more. All the while the other musicians gave him a center stage, keeping up their steady tune in the background. Finally the trumpeter held such a long note that the pianist's hooves were in a blur as they ran up and down the keys, high to low, low to high, a swirling cacophony of the sound that ended him in tilting his head back in a high note that might have shattered glass. Silence fell. The performance had come to an end. All around, rainbow ponies stomped their floors and tables, slopping drinks and making the wood creak uncertainty. She had felt something touch her hoof. Her head snapped around to see Twilight smiling apprehensively. Her horn glowed, and for a moment they were encased in a bubble that muffled all around them. "Did you like it?" That was weird." Twilight's face fell. "But weird is good," Rainbow added hurriedly. Did they make it all that up at the spot?" "Pretty much, yeah. It's jazz music." Rainbow shook her head. "I never thought of you. All the ponies would be so into stuff like that. I thought you all be about precision and perfect timing and stuff." "Oh, I am." Twilight dropped her gaze to a careworn tabletop. "But sometimes I like the unpredictability of jazz. It's safe kind of unpredictability. Nothing can go wrong when you're listening to jazz, but the music kind of plays itself for the ponies, instead of the ponies playing the music, if that makes sense." She sighed. "I like the order. I like rules. I like it when rules are followed. All my life has been little rituals and habits, doing things the same way over and over, because the same way is best, safest and most successful way. Precision is apprehensive, and in spellcasting, you make one wrong move and well, strawberry jam pony? Well, kind of, yeah, but I'm still just a pony. I need a release the same as everyone else. When I said that I had a rebellious phase as a teenager, this is what I was talking about. It may not have been the rebellion the way ponies think of the world, but for me this was all breaking my internal rule book. This music doesn't follow the conventional rules, but it does have its own thing. It's expressive and intuitive, and basically all the things I'm not." "That you weren't," Rainbow corrected. "You've come a long way since you were a teenager." "Yeah, I have. But sometimes you just gotta have a little jazz in your life." Twilight met her gaze squarely. "Rainbow, you're my jazz. You're the music that plays my heart. You're the unpredictable part of my life that makes me truly happy just to be alive. So for your birthanniversary, I want to share this special something with you. I've never shared it with any pony else, as I always get too embarrassed or just couldn't explain it all properly. But it sounds so stupid when I say it out loud, but I thought of it just maybe, all of you ponies, you could understand. She licked her lips. Because you're my Jazz. At the moment, the room swirled around Rainbow Dash. Suddenly, all the voices and the thumping and all the everything else just didn't matter. All that mattered was the mayor in front of her, bashfully sharing his little private piece of her soul. I love her. The thought arrived in her head, formally formed, like she didn't need to think of it for it to be there. I really love this mayor. She leaned in, kissing Twilight deeply and forcefully, trying to communicate all this evening meant to her. Since she wasn't sure if she could put her thoughts and feelings into the words properly either, Twilight had explained herself with music. Rainbow chose to pour her emotions into a kiss that left them both breathless and blinking. As Twilight's concentration lapsed, the soundproof bubble popped. Rainbow became aware of the shouting that was different than before. She looked around, realizing belatedly that all the eyes in the room were now on the table. The trumpeter stallion got on stage and pumped a clenched foreleg in the air, grinning so broadly in his mouth nearly split his face in two. "Oh my gosh," Twilight whispered. "Now, right there? That is beautiful," the trumpeter said into the microphone. "Jazz affects different ponies in different ways, folks. Seems like the two lovebirds over here got all enormous from me and my own wife's set." He gestured to the pianist, who was clapping delicately, as if afraid of putting on too much force behind might damage her precious hooves. "What's your name, darling?" Rainbow realized he was speaking to her. Rainbow Dash." "Mighty fine name. Hey, Scarlet, she got the name you want." "Screw you, Louis," Scarlet called back. From somewhere in the back of the room, the crowd chuckled. "I'm thinking, I want to play something for you two lovebirds. You dig?" the trumpeter said, raising his instrument speculatively. "I seem to recall you seeing a young filly who looks like your partner there years ago, alone in that very table. It does my heart good to see that she ain't sitting there alone no more." He winked, clearly at Twilight, and started to play. It was diametrically opposed to the last song that was possible. Slow, mouthfulish notes oozed from the trumpet. For a whole 2 minutes, none of the other band members moved a muscle. Then the clarinet radiated into a melody to match. The piano chimed in a minute later, so soft and gentle like it was a whisper of silk against fur. She let the trumpet and clarinet take the lead, weaving together a song so slow and pretty. The entire room fell silent and began to sway this time with them. Rainbow reached across the table once more to clasp both Twilight out of her hooves and hers. For once she didn't mind something that was slow. She was content to sit still and listen, as their music watched over her and the mare was beginning to think that she was to spend the rest of her life with. "Happy birthanniversary," Twilight murmured. "Thanks, Sparklebutt." "Rainbow, heh, totally worth it."
What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video, and I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Miss Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, stay pretty.